Before we dive deeper, I'd love to invite you to join the Observe Day newsletter. Every week, I send you highlights of upcoming observances, creative ways to celebrate, and behind the scenes extras from the shows. It's the perfect way to stay inspired and never miss a meaningful moment. Sign up today at observeday.com/join. That is observeday.com/join. Now let's get back to the conversation. Welcome to the Observe Day podcast, the show where we celebrate the days that matter. From holidays to meaningful observances, we bring you inspiring conversations, stories, and ideas to make each day count. Whether it's raising awareness, learning something new, or simply sparking joy, this is your space to explore the calendar in a whole new way. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I'm excited to share today's observance with you. Let's dive in. Today on the Observe Day podcast, we're joined by Kelly Tuttle, an award-winning author, healthcare advocate, and traumatic brain surgery survivor who turned her pain into purpose. After a devastating car crash in 2015, Kelly found herself navigating the difficult road of recovery, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. As a former nurse patient, as a former nurse turned patient, she learned firsthand how isolating and confusing the healing progress can be. She's now the author of After the Crash, How to Keep Your Job, Stay in School, and Live Life After a Brain Injury, a powerful guide for survivors who want to rebuild their lives with confidence and hope. Through her books, her YouTube channel, and our online program, Road to Recovery, Kelly helps others rediscover who they are and regain independence and learn to trust their healing brains again. Welcome to the podcast, Kelly.
Thank you for having me, Wisdom. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Kelly, can you take us back to that night in 2015? What do you remember most vividly about the crash?
What do I remember? That it hurt.
Uh,
It was kind of like being punched in the head and the chest by Jet Li,
oh,
from the airbags. But that's kind of what I remember. And I remember not wanting to go to the emergency room, so I declined the ambulance, which I don't recommend anybody to do. And I thought I would be able to get back to work and went back to work the next day. But my colleagues who are nurses and nurse practitioners knows that there was something wrong, and they impressed upon me to see my general practitioner
yeah.
who diagnosed me with a concussion.
You got the diagnosis. Well, like, I'm curious. The moment you got the diagnosis, what was running through your mind, and how did you take it?
I thought wrongly that I would be better in 2 weeks. So my doctor put me on off work for 2 weeks, and then after the 2 weeks, I pushed myself to get back to work and being a mom. And I had a long drive to work, an hour commute one way, and I pushed and pushed and pushed, even though I had headaches and dizziness, and I was irritable and sleeping a lot. I was like, well, I should be better. I need to get back into life, get back to work. Until one day, while driving home, I fell asleep at the wheel about three
Oh,
months after the car crash. And the car bouncing off the road woke me up, and I was able to slam on the brakes before I hit a tree. And I really wasn't thinking well at this point, and I decided, well, I'll just take a nap in between work and home in my car, which is not safe, right? That is just not safe.
yeah.
So I had lunch with a colleague at the time who was a neurology nurse practitioner. She asked me how I was doing. I told her, and that I fell asleep at the wheel, and that I was taking a nap in my car. And she's like, no, that's not good. You should see a physical medicine rehab doctor and get a brain scan. And so I did a bunch of hoop jumping through the medical system. It's very hard to get healthcare here in the US.
Yeah.
But I finally got the referral. And then when I got the referral, saw the physical medicine rehab doctor, also known as physiatrist. And once I saw that doctor, I was on the right road to recovery. She took me off work for 3 months, and I went to intensive speech therapy and neurotherapy and physical therapy, and I just slowly got better after that.
Yeah. Most people when they hear about traumatic brain surgeries, they don't even understand how it affects daily life. I'm curious, what are some of the invisible symptoms you faced?
Right. So sometimes, for example, myself, I had no self-awareness, so I didn't know what was going on for quite a while, till about 4 months out. And so a lot of people don't realize that they have sound sensitivity, light sensitivity, that their fatigue is from their brain needing to heal and not functioning properly. They may have difficulty with speaking, like difficulty finding the words, difficulty with reading, unable to tolerate working on computers because of the lights and the reading. Um, they may be emotional and may not know why. Why am I crying all the time? Why am I irritable? Why am I angry? And unless they see a provider who says, "Hey, you had a fall, you fell down, you told me you hit your head on the
Yeah.
coffee table. This sounds like you have a concussion, and these symptoms are consistent with a concussion, and this is what we need to do to help you get better."
Oh, yeah. I'm, I'm curious. I guess the question wouldn't be at what point, because it was series of points from what you said so far. Did it dawn on you that something was really, really wrong and this was beyond just a minor concussion?
Again, it was that 3 months kind of period afterwards that I used to study martial arts, and I went to the dojo to get back to, studying, and I was really frustrated because I couldn't remember the right moves, I couldn't get my body to do the right thing. I'd say to
Yeah.
myself, "Move my foot forward," and it would step back, and I was really upset about it, and I went home crying, and, that's when it dawned on me, like, "Wait a minute. It's been 3 months. I should be better, not worse." And so I went home, I read all my concussion books and paperwork, talked to my husband, and I said, "You know what? I don't think I'm better. I think I'm worse." And he goes, "Yeah, I was thinking your brain wasn't working right." And I'm like, "Why didn't you say anything?" He goes, "I didn't wanna hurt your feelings."
Oh,
So it took a long time to figure out, yeah, what was going on.
when you had this realization, how did this experience um change your sense of identity and self-worth? Because at that point in time you couldn't do some of there are certain things you could not do.
Right, so that it was hard, it was a dark time, and about a year out from the car accident, I did sit down and I knew that the things that I had, like the headaches, the fatigue, the light sensitivity wasn't going away. So I just wanted to kind of take stock in my life. Like, how am I going to go forward? Right. So I wrote on a piece of paper because I was journaling this whole time. And on the left side of the paper, I wrote down all my goals and passions and dreams and
Okay.
things I liked before the car accident. And then on the right side, I wrote everything that I gained from my concussion. And when I compared the two, I was okay with letting go of a lot of the things that I thought were important before my car accident.
Yeah.
And when I looked at the right side, I liked the person I was becoming and the life I was starting to live. Because it was
Oh,
more slow, more simple, more compassion and understanding for myself and others around me, and more of an intentional and grateful um, perception of the world and my life.
before we dive deeper, I'd love to invite you to join the Observe Day newsletter. Every week, I send you highlights of upcoming observances, creative ways to celebrate, and behind the scenes extras from the shows. It's the perfect way to stay inspired and never miss a meaningful moment. Sign up today at observeday.com/join. That is observeday.com/join. Now, let's get back to the conversation. Oh, I love what you did there. And this is something that what you did is something that is important, not just for having a brain injury. It's having anything major in life where you're like, okay, I need to make certain changes. I'm no longer the person I used to be, whether in a positive or a negative way, whatever the case might be. And it helps to put a lot of things in focus.
Yes, and I did that by journaling. I was able to kind of get the scary thoughts out of my head and put them on paper and realize, is this important? Is it not? Do I need to talk to someone about it? Maybe get help? And so the journaling was really key to helping me heal and develop my own personal emotional intelligence and patience and grace for my recovery.
Yeah. Um, You wrote the book after the crash, right? And what inspired you to write that?
What inspired me to write that book was the 2 weeks before I was supposed to go to work on the after being off for 3 months.
Yeah,
Wisdom, I was freaking out because I was like, I don't know what my brain needs as support to function well while I'm at work. I was reading my books, I was reading my paperwork, and I really couldn't find anything specific for my work. And I didn't want that to happen to anybody else.
yeah.
So when I decided to write my book, I made sure it had really easy strategies and tools to implement independently on your own to help support your brain at work. And I also put it on Audible so that people can listen to it if after their brain injury they had a hard time reading and
Yeah,
memorizing like I did. And Audible books were a savior for me at the time.
the crash. I guess writing the book like after the crash is a portal into the past. It's a moment of reliving what happened, whether good or bad. What was that experience like for you?
I in my book I didn't want to spend a lot of time on my story or focusing on what I lost because of my brain injury. I wanted to give a little bit of the story so my book wouldn't be boring and it would be engaging, but I didn't want it to be a memoir. I wanted it to be a how-to book, and I wanted
Yeah.
it to be quick, to the point, to help my readers because I knew their energy and their ability to read and absorb things was limited. And so I wanted it to be super easy to read, either pick up or put down, or just put your headphones on and listen to.
I mean, even though it's a how-to book, you definitely did draw from your own experience to say, well, what were the challenges I faced? What was I thinking at the point in time? So that you can write a book that totally understands and gets them as a how-to guide rather than just a generic book that someone just cooked up and like, oh, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I'm going through this. How am I supposed to do this?
Yes, I definitely used myself as an example in the book and the mistakes I made, and how on hindsight, looked back and realized that this strategy would have helped to prevent that mistake. I did have some changes in my personality where I had impulse spending problems. I
Yeah,
was purchasing things more than what money was coming in. And
yeah.
so what I learned and I share in my book is to take your cards away, to hide them, to not have them on your computer for easy pay so that when you're healing, your brain's healing, you aren't spending your money when you don't have it. And I did make that mistake and I didn't want anybody else to make it.
Well, well. Yeah, what was it like, after the 3 months, after realizing that something wasn't right and, going back with treatment, what was it like transitioning back to the workplace after the brain injury? What were some key adjustments that made a difference for you?
Um, it, I I transitioned by going to work just for 4 hours, 1 to 2 days a week, and then every 2 weeks I increased the days, and then eventually went to full time after about 3 months. And I kind of feel like I went back to work too soon, and I do talk about that and I have another ebook. It's Get Back Behind the Wheel. It's on Amazon. It's just an ebook, real short, easy to read. And I kind of outline a longer return to work because you really have to balance pushing your brain to heal and grow stronger, but not overdoing it where you're hampering your healing. And that decision and making is really going to depend on the person and their symptoms. And they're going to have to really advocate for themselves and communicate well what they need in order to be the best they can at work.
Tell me about the key pillars of brain injury recovery.
Yes, so I have 5 pillars of to recovery that I recommend, and one is sleep. People should get 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night, even for maintaining your brain health. And exercise. Exercise helps with neuroplasticity, which is
Yeah,
connecting the nerves that have been separated from each other or have died, making new connections, exercising outside, especially because the being outside and in nature is the best for the brain. A healthy nutrition, so eating more closer to the ground, um, like your vegetables, your fruit, and whole grain breads and things like that, and less from the factory things in a package. For example, I'll say to my patients, you would choose an orange rather than drink the orange juice because the orange juice has sugar and preservatives and things like that that your body doesn't need while your brain's healing. And the third thing is mindfulness, and that's kind of a little bit of that um, journaling, uh, grounding yourself, taking slow, deep breaths, small meditations. It could be a walk, it could be practicing yoga. And then the fifth one is financial wellness, and that is a lot. And if you don't have financial wellness, you're unable to pay your bills and you're stressed about money, it's going to be really hard for you to be healthy and to do those other things that I was talking
Yeah.
about. So financial wellness could be like making sure you have enough money for your medical treatment, knowing your income's going to be less because of loss of work, trying not to overspend, cut out any unnecessary spending or memberships or subscriptions, and removing the easy pay debit cards and credit cards off of the web and hiding them if you have to. And then after a brain injury, it can be really hard to pay your bills, just to pay your bills. You may not have the ability to do the math, ability to conceive them, to perceive what money's coming in and going out. You may not be motivated to pay your bills. You may lose your motivation. So it's really important for family and friends to step in and help with the money, sometimes early in the recovery to prevent those things.
Okay. Just to go over the pillars again, we have sleep, exercise, uh, financial awareness. That's three. Help me out with the many two.
N- uh, Mindfulness and
Okay.
nutrition.
Okay. I was about to say eat, but I was like, she didn't say eat. Okay, that's nutrition. It's good food and make sure you're eating the right things. And then mindfulness and then financial awareness. Oh, thank you so much. What advice would you want to give to, as someone who's gone through this, um, what advice would you want to give to a brain injury survivor? What message do you want to tell them right now?
Don't be alone. Don't do it alone. Reach out to your trusted family and friends. Reach out to your doctors, your nurses, your specialists, your therapists, talk therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. Get into a support group where you can find your own tribe where people will understand you, whether that's in person or virtual.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, just don't do it alone. Reach out for help.
Oh, thank you so much, Kelly, for that advice. One other thing I noticed we did not touch on is what advice would you give to people that are friends, family members, spouses of people that are going through how do I put it, brain injury? They're friends of families or spouse of brain injury survivors.
Yes, for the caregivers, really try to get to understand what it's like to have a brain injury. So go to the library, get some books on it, read the information that you get from your specialists. Don't let the brain survivor go to healthcare appointments alone. Go with them because they may not remember everything that's being told. Remember to take care of yourself, that you need to exercise, eat well, sleep well, and believe the brain injury survivor. If they have the symptoms, believe them. There's no point in arguing. All you're going to do is make things worse. So if the lights are too bright, turn them down. If the noises are too loud, turn it down. And some brain injury survivors' recovery will be across the rest of their lifespan. Some will recover quickly, and some will recover over their lifespan. Everyone's recovery is different. Everyone's symptom is different as their own personalities.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. Um, Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for chatting with me. and just sharing some of the tips and some of the advice. Where can listeners learn more about the book and the work that you do, and also connect with you?
The best place to connect with me would be on my website, kellytuttle.org, O-R-G.
Can you spell that out?
Yeah, KELLYTTLE.ORG.
The link in the description, so listeners can just click and go directly to the site. It's been an
Thank
absolute
you.
delight chatting with you, Kelly.
It's been nice talking to you too, Wisdom. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
my pleasure. That's it for today's episode of the Observe Day podcast. Thank you for spending your time with us as we explore today's observance. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with a friend who'd love to celebrate life special days too. Don't forget to join the newsletter at observeday.com/join for more observance stories, tips, and updates. Until next time, keep finding meaning in every day.